Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am to start off these Lord of the Rings Hobbit movie reviews. Alright, and now here I am to start off these reviews, starting off with the original animated Hobbit. So, this came out in 1977. And this film was done by Rankin Bass. Yes, and I never had actually seen this film before. I mean, I know probably a lot of people really haven't heard of this version before. And now, like nowadays, like people, like of course they just think of when they think of like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, they think of course like the Peter Jackson movies. So yeah, a lot of you probably have never actually heard of this film before, and yeah, a lot of you probably haven't even actually seen this film before, and I had never actually seen this film before, or before I actually like watched it to make this review. And so yeah, I really didn't know what to expect from this film because yeah, Rankin Bass, of course, like they're probably most well known for all of the holiday specials they have done, like with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Yeah, all those. And all those specials really have like had really a cult following, and people always like tune in to watch those like all the time during the holidays. So yeah, I was thinking like I wasn't really sure what to expect with this from Rankin Bass. I mean, since they do have all the holiday classics, which people seem to really tune into every single year, I was thinking I wasn't sure if like this would kind of have the same thing, and Rankin Bass really just have like something that would be watchable. So yeah, I wasn't really too sure what to expect from that. So I popped this film in and gave it a watch, and uh, well, I really don't know how to say this, but I guess overall the film was, I guess it was like all right. I guess I mean, of course, like these animated, all three of these animated films are like they're more geared to like younger audiences than the Peter Jackson movies were. So yeah, that's something that I guess like people have got to be like more like lenient on these films for, because they're not really like geared to the same audiences that the Peter Jackson movies are geared to. So yeah, but yeah. So as far as like as geared to like a younger audience, I guess it is like I guess it does it tells the story just fine. I mean, yeah, I've heard like I was watching a Nostalgia Critic's old versus new of the Lord of the Rings films where he compared the Jackson movies to the Bakshi film. And I saw a comment on the video of someone saying that he should do an old versus new of this film and the Jackson trilogy. And I was saying how it really wouldn't make sense to compare them. I mean, it's like what I was talking about before in the last video, why I wasn't going to do with the Hobbit films what I'm doing for the Lord of the Rings films, because it really doesn't make sense comparing this film, which is only like about an hour and 15 minutes, to three films that are each 3 hours long. Yeah, but then like somebody told me that both this film and the Jackson movies, he's like both of them like tell like the entire story, or because I've never actually read the book before, but yeah, so someone told me that like both this film and like the Jackson trilogy tell the whole story. So yeah, and so yeah, the Hobbit book is like people have said like it is like a really like the book is like pretty short and really simple and stuff. So yeah, so yeah, but yeah, I'll talk more about this like once I actually do get to the Jackson movies, because like I guess people like a lot of people have said like due to like how the length of all three of the Jackson movies, that's one of the reasons that they are kind of looked at the way that they are. But yeah, I'll talk more about that once I actually do review the Jackson Hobbit movie. So yeah. So the original Hobbit book, it is like a pretty short and simple book. So yeah, I guess like yeah, this one does actually tell the whole story in just like an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, it is like probably a real small book. But I've never actually read it, like I said. So but yeah, from what I've heard, it is. So yeah, I guess like it does do it just fine of telling the story. Like I guess like if for all of you that really like are feeling like the way like some people do for the Jackson movies, if you're looking for like a version that really just sticks to like telling the story, like just sticking right to the points of the original book, like that's more of what this version does. Like yeah, this one just really does stick to actually the premise of the book and really just doesn't like really extend it out like the Jackson movies do. So I guess that's like one thing that this film I guess does do right, I guess. And yeah, but yeah, for me personally, I mean, this really isn't like something that I will probably like would like watch like all the time because for me like this film is like kind of a mixed bag personally because like it really does get boring like quite the number of times like there are like tons of boring parts in this film, and the animation really isn't very good. I mean, yeah, well, like watching this animation. I mean, comparing it to like some Disney films that had come out like prior to this, like there were Disney films that came out during this time, and even like back like decades before this, that the animation really does look a lot better. I mean, I'm not really sure what the budget on this was, and like what Rankin Bass's budget for their animation really is, but yeah, the animation for this really isn't very good. I mean, yeah, and the voice acting really is like not that great either. I mean, yeah, I'll put a scene from this film down in the description for you to watch, and you can see like for yourselves like how the animation really isn't very good, and neither is the voice acting and stuff. So yeah, those are like some flaws that this film has, and yeah, this film like it has some voice talents like Orson Bean, Richard Boone, Hans Conried, John Huston, Otto Preminger, Cyril Richard, Brother Theodore, Paul Frees, Thurl Ravenscroft. So, yeah, it does kind of like have a decent voice cast for this film, like with Hans Conried and Cyril Richard and Paul Frees and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny how in this film, like the voice cast, there are like two actors that have played Captain Hook before and like Peter Pan because you have Hans Conried, who of course like voiced Captain Hook in the Disney Peter Pan, and you also had a Cyril Richard who actually did like play Captain Hook in the Broadway in like the 50s and 60s, like back when like Mary Martin stayed on as Peter Pan in the Broadway. That's the same time that Cyril Richard was playing Captain Hook in the Broadway. So yeah, I did think it was kind of interesting that they had like two Captain Hook actors in this film for voices. So yeah, and so yeah, if you've seen the Jackson movies and haven't seen this, you probably do know what the story for this film is. It's basically how Bilbo is like recruited or something. Bilbo Baggins is like uh, brought into like a expedition to like find treasures and stuff to lead like Thorin and his band of dwarfs and stuff, or like join them on their journey to like gain treasures and stuff. And that's really just like the what this film does. It's basically just like Bilbo, along with Thorin and the dwarfs, just on a journey to really just like find treasures and stuff. And so yeah, I guess like like I said earlier. I mean, I guess it does tell the story well enough, and it really does like stick to the main like points of the book rather than what the Jackson films do and just extend the whole thing out into like three-hour films. So yeah, I guess like I said, if you have read the book and you're looking for just a version that really just stick to the main points of the original book, like this film, I guess, like will does like actually stick to the story more, and it is more focused on the point of the original book and stuff. So yeah, if that's what you're looking for, maybe you will like this version better than the Jackson films. I really don't know, but yeah, for me, it's really not anything like it's really in no way comparable to either Lord of the Jackson Lord of the Rings or Hobbit films, but yeah, like I said, it is geared more to the kids. So yeah. So I guess like you can just need to like look at it like that rather than really compare it to the Jackson films, and just look at it rather as its own thing instead. So yeah. Well, based on that, as far as like telling the story of the original book, it does do it just fine. I would probably give this film, I don't know. I guess I would give it like 2.5 stars out of 4. I mean, it's nothing that I can really call like actually like a really good or anything, because like it's just really hampered by animation that really isn't very good, as well as bad voice acting and stuff. So yeah, and plus like the design for some of the characters really well, one character in particular really is just like, huh? And that's Gollum. Like, there's a scene in this film where Bilbo actually does come across Gollum, and Gollum's design, he just looks weird as hell. I mean, if you've seen Gollum in this film, he just looks like really, really like weird. Like he just looks like nothing like how he does in the Jacksons. I mean, even in the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings, he's like he does look a lot better than he looks here. Like he just looks like some kind of like monkey and a ferret put together. Like he just looks like yeah, he just looks really bad in this. Like yeah, I'll also put along with the a scene from this film to show you the animation and voice acting in this film. I'll put a photo down in the description of what Gollum looks like in this film, so you can see for yourself how he looks. He just looks really, really bad. So yeah, this film really does like have like it does have a lot of flaws. So yeah, it's really nothing that I can really call good. I mean, yeah, despite the fact that you really can't compare it to the Jackson films, so I guess like a lot of people really are always going to be doing that, and that's something that's really going to be distracting for this. So yeah, this is something that you're always going to be looking towards. So yeah, yeah, and especially like comparing Gollum in this film to his other designs in other films, like with the Bakshi Lord of the Rings and the Jackson movies. Yeah, it's really bad. So yeah, let me just go right through the plot of this real fast, because yeah, I think I've said just about everything there is to say. All right, so yeah, in this film, Gandalf like has a Bilbo Baggins host a party for Thorin and his dwarves, and like eventually it's like unveiled by Gandalf that um that he has a map to show a secret door into the Lonely Mountain, and he makes a proposal that Bilbo will serve as the burglar for the expedition, and so then like Bilbo is like referred to as the burglar for this group, and and yeah, Bilbo like ends up joining them on the expedition. And then, yeah, they then just end up like journeying through the wild, and they like end up like coming across um, like trolls and goblins and a whole bunch of other creatures in the uh, wild and stuff. Up and eventually, Bilbo ends up getting separated from them, and then he like ends up like finding a mysterious ring, and eventually he does find Gollum, and yeah, eventually like Gollum ends up like showing Bilbo through the goblin tunnels that he's lost in. And Bilbo ends up eventually escaping, and he ends up like rejoining with the dwarfs, and then like eventually they end up like getting chased by goblins and wargs, but then like eagles end up like saving Bilbo and the dwarfs, yeah. And then they eventually end up like entering the Black Forest of Mirkwood, and Gandalf ended up like telling like Bilbo and the other gang that they would have to go on their own without him, and so then they end up like journeying through Mirkwood. Yeah, and then they like ended up like coming across some giant spiders, and no, Bilbo ended up like saving the dwarfs from the spiders, and then they like ended up like being trapped in dungeons of wood elves, which Bilbo also saved the dwarfs from. And then they eventually end up coming across a lake town, and like um they end up like eventually like traveling through a lonely mountain, and then they end up like finding the secret door to the lonely mountain, and then eventually like Bilbo ended up coming across the the lair of Smug the dragon. So yeah, this like ends up like telling like all three stories of the Jackson trilogy, like with them journeying through. It's like unexpected journey, and then right here with Bilbo coming across Smug, it's like desolation of Smug, and then like in the end, like they end up having like the kind of like a small part of like the Battle of Five Armies. So yeah, they like each part like this film like all like has small parts of like the three Jackson films. So yeah, that's how this one tells the story. So yeah, and then and yeah, eventually like Bilbo ends up like stealing a great cup from Smog. And then yeah, then with Smog and Og then just like set out to destroy Lake Town, because he deduced that Lake Town actually aided Bilbo. Oh, and then eventually, like a thrush overheard what Bilbo reported about Smog's vulnerability, and then yeah, it was then like reported to Bard, who was like the defender of Lake Town, and then Bard then like used his arrow then just to shoot uh, uh, Smog in his hollow spot. So yeah, and then eventually Bilbo ended up like finding the Arkenstone, which was like an heirloom of Thorin's dynasty. Yeah, and eventually like the both the Wood Elves and the Lakemen besieged the mountain, and then they like just wanted some compensation for their aid to the dwarfs. Or and they just like ended up like wanting a settlement of like their claims on the treasure, but Thorin, who was like leading the group, ended up just like refusing, and then like he ended up just like reinforcing his position, and then like Bilbo tried to like ransom the Arkenstone, but yeah, Thorin wouldn't have any of it, and then he just ended up like just banishing Bilbo, and then just it seemed like just everything was inevitable, and then yeah, Gandalf eventually did arrive, and he warned everyone of the approaching warg and goblin armies, along with like the dwarfs and men and elves all banded together, and then like then this like ended up like turning into the Battle of Five armies, and then yeah, but yeah, then like the dwarves ended up like winning it, but in the battle, Thorin ended up being fatally wounded, and then he just ended up like just reconciling with Bilbo for like how he treated Bilbo throughout the journey and stuff. Yeah, and then he ended up dying. Yeah, and then like as they were heading home, like as they were like claiming the treasure, Bilbo only won like a small portion of his share, and he didn't just said that he had no want or need for more. And then when he returned home, it just showed that he was then just a very wealthy hobbit. And then like it just ended with like I think it was Gandalf just like narrating that this just doesn't like end Bilbo's story or anything, but it's just like beginning again. And so yeah, I guess this just like ended up like leading to like the to just some other possible adventures. Yeah, I don't know if like all any of these three animated films actually are connected to each other because yeah, of course like with Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings, it's I don't think that has any official connection to this film, nor if like the Rankin Bass Return of the King has any connection to this or Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. So yeah, I don't know if like this is like the last bit of dialogue in this film, if that actually is like referring to like the adventures of like what they're going through, their what happens next with like Bakshi's Lord of the Rings or what. Yeah, I don't know like what that was actually like referring to or anything, but yeah, maybe it's just like saying like giving us like wondering what the possibilities are be like it's I guess it's kind of like what like the original Peter Pan story was referring to, how there is like possible adventures after that, but nothing official that we really would know about and stuff. Yeah, I guess that could possibly be what the same type of style that this is taking, but yeah, I really don't know. But yeah, it's I guess it's just up for debate. You can decide for yourself what it means. All right, so yeah, like I said, I guess I give it like 2.5 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, it really does like stick more to just the main points of the original book, but yeah, it's really just like hampered with the bad animation and bad voice acting and stuff. So yeah, I guess like yeah, I really personally I really wouldn't recommend this even if you really would even if you really are curious enough to see it, but yeah, like I said before, if you're just looking for something that sticks more to just the main points of the book, like, rather than like what the Jackson movies did and like stretch out the story, I guess like this is like the version that you may be looking for. So yeah, not really recommended, but yeah, probably a better representation of sticking more to the main story and stuff. So yeah, that's really just my take on it. So yeah, all right. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the animated Hobbit. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like this, I really seemed like kind of lost in this review, but yeah, it's really just like really kind of hard to talk about this because yeah, I'm really like just really not familiar with the original story and stuff, and yeah, it just really is like just I really don't know, really didn't know what to make of this film, whether it was or what this really did mean. So yeah, I'm sorry if this really did turn out like me just kind of like rambling and just seeming confused and lost, but yeah, I just really didn't know what to make of this film. So yeah, that's really just yeah, that's all I can really say about it. All right, so yeah, that does it for my review of the animated Hobbit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, in my next one, when I do take a look at the Bakshi Lord of the Rings, yeah, I will be able to talk about it better than I did with this. So yeah, if my next review will be better than this. So yeah, all right. So anyway, thanks for watching this review. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.